Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about teaching you how to create print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please do stick around. So in today's video, we're going to be going over how to create this design right here. It's a really easy one, but it's, popular niches. This is the birthday niche combined with a sports niche, specifically for this design, baseball. But of course, you could do this with pretty much any sport that you wanted to. So if you would like to learn how to do this, go ahead and stick around. So as always, we're going to start with our blank backdrop. It is 4500 by 5400 pixels, and I am going to be designing specifically for black today. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on my blank canvas, go to the top left-hand corner where it says background color, and I'm going to go ahead and select black for my background color. Now for today's design, we're going to do sort of a spin on the typical birthday design. Is very popular. Obviously, you can do a lot of different ways. You can go with birthdays and years, and it's a good evergreen because it will sell year round, year after year after year. So today we're going to do a little cross niche. We're going to cross the birthday niche with a sports niche. So specifically today, I'm going to show you with baseball, but of course you can do this with any number of different things. And in terms of the year that I'm going to pick, for this one, I'm going to go popular. I'm going to go with the year 13. So we are going to make a cool sports style baseball birthday design, really simple to make. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start with with my frame. So I'm going to use a frame for the 13. So I'm just going to go ahead and click T on my keyboard, and it's going to pull up a text box. With this text box, I'm just going to go ahead and put in the number 13 because that is what I'm going to be starting with. And I'm going to make it nice and big so that I can see it. Now from here, what I want to do is pick a font. Now, sometimes you can take a lot of time choosing the right font. The good thing is if you're making a design that could be scaled out, as this one can be, once you find the font that you want and you've made your template, you can now scale it out, however many years you want to cover. So if you wanted to cover year 1 through year 100, that's how many different designs you could make using your one template. So it's okay if you take a while to try to find the right font, because sometimes the right font is what makes or breaks a design. So for this one, I'm doing a sort of a sports style. I want it to be bold. I want it to have a little bit of that sports feel to it. So there's a few different ways we can search. If I come up here to the fonts section, I can try searching just for bold fonts, and it will pull up all the different bold fonts, and I can just kind of go through them and look to see what I think would look good. Now I'm looking for something, thick, bold. I'm using it as a frame. That one actually looks pretty good. I do sort of like that one. So you just sort of keep the ones you like in mind, and you're looking for something sort of, big, bold. It's going to take up a lot of space. It's going to be sporty, so you can do any one that you want. Something like that looks good too. And so once you find sort of the font that you want, then we'll go ahead and make our frame. So that's a good one too, right there. So I've already kind of looked. I know which one I want. The one that I found originally that I liked was called, I want to say Tico Bold. So if you know the name of the font, you can always type it into the top too. So I think it was Tico. There it is. Yeah, Tico Bold. So I liked this one. It was big, it was bold, it didn't have a lot of free space, which means that it was really good for using it as a frame, because I'm gonna, fill a good amount of space. And it did sort of have that sort of sporty look that I liked, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and make this nice and big. This is going to be my frame right here. And so once I have my frame, and it doesn't really matter where it is because we're gonna be, putting an image in it and saving it and then re-putting it on. So, just make sure you've got it nice and big. right here, the title of my page, it says 13. Whatever you put in your text box is usually going to automatically title your screen. So once you have that, we're just going to go ahead and download this. So I'm going to go up to the top right hand corner where it says share, and I can come down to where it says download. And then from here, I'm going to want a transparent background. We're going to keep it as a PNG, and we're just going to go ahead and hit download. And I'm going to give it a second. Perfect. And now what we're going to do is jump right over to Photopea. If you've been watching my videos recently, I've been using Photopea a lot because I really like it for its clipping mask feature, and again also to make sort of groovy or kind of distorted text. So those are the two things I use it for the most, but I'm going to go ahead, jump over to Photopea. If you've never used it before, just go ahead and type Photopea into your browser, and it should open up a page that looks just like this. You don't have to log in. You don't have to give any kind of information. Everything is going to open straight from your computer. So you can click right in the middle. It says open from computer. This should pull up your downloads, and you can go ahead and click on that 13 frame that you just made. And it's just going to pull up a page that looks like this. And right in the middle, there is your 13. So now you have your frame. And so it's that easy now. I'm going to go ahead and jump right back over to Canva. So I just keep my tabs open up top. And now what I want to do is go ahead and put a baseball over this. So I'm going to fill this frame with a baseball. So without moving this, because this is our template, we're going to go to the left-hand corner and we're going to go up to the tab that says Elements. And then from here, you can search for anything you want. I'm going to go ahead and search for baseball. So once you've searched for your baseball, you can sort this by graphics or by photos. My dogs are barking, sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and choose photos. I actually like the one that's right here in the front, but if you do want to see all, you can click see all. It's going to pull up all your different photos that you can use, and you can scroll through and try to find different things. I actually liked that very first one. I think it will work really well for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and come right up to the top, and I'm going to pick this first baseball because I think this is going to be easy to work with. So I'm going to close that. What I want to do is make this baseball big enough so it's covering my entire frame. So I'm going to go ahead, click on the corner, drag it out to make it nice and big so that it is covering my entire frame. Once I have it there, what I can do to see how it lines up with my frame underneath is use some transparency on it. So if I go to the top right-hand corner of my page where you have this little checkered design, it says transparency, I can click on that, and then what I can do is just drag this down, and it's going to make the image transparent. So now I can see my 13 underneath, and I know where the laces are going to line up. So I don't particularly like the way the laces are lining up now. No problem. I can take this ball and I can rotate it or move it however I want to get those laces to line up in a way that I think looks good. So I could do something like that and have the lace sort of come right through the letters that way, and I think, or the numbers that way. I think that looks good, but I can play with it, so I can keep rotating it to see, you know, how it might look best. I could have it come this way and go through the 3 down at the bottom. I do like it to cover a good amount of the 1. So either something like that or something like that I think looks good. Matter of fact, I do sort of like it this way because it's going to take up a big piece of that 1. So this might be how I want it. So once I know how I want it, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this transparency. So I'm going to go back up to my little checkered box, and I'm going to slide this back so that it's nice and solid. Once I have it nice and solid and where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and just retitle this baseball. And I can put baseball mask too if I want to be specific, because this is going to be my clipping mask. And now I'm just going to download this. So I'm going to go back to share. I'm going to click download. And here I don't need to have a transparent background because we're only going to be dealing with the baseball. You can if you want, it really won't make a difference. I'm just going to go ahead and click download. It's still a PNG. So that's going to download the baseball, and then we can hop right back over to Photopea, and I'll show you the rest of this. Now that it's downloaded, I'm just going to go right to my Photopea tab. I've already got it open, and I already have my 13 frame in here. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my baseball over the top. So to do that, I'm going to go to the top left-hand corner. It's going to say File. If you click on File, there'll be a drop down where you can go 3 spaces down. It will say Open in Place. If you click on that, It's going to pull up your downloads, and now you can go ahead and select your baseball mask and open that. And give it a sec, it will load. And now my baseball mask is right over my 13. So over here on the right-hand side, you'll see the baseball mask is the top layer, and then the bottom layer is going to be your background layer or your 13. You want to make sure that the baseball mask is highlighted. It should be, as long as you don't click on anything else, because that's the layer that we're going to be working with. And so now we'll go back up to the top where it said File. Go ahead and move to your right until you get to the tab that says Layer. You can go ahead, click on Layer, and a drop down will come up, and about halfway down you will see something called Clipping Mask. If you go ahead and click on that, poof, it will magically put your baseball into your 13 frame. And so there you go. So now I have 13 with the baseball look. And so from here I can go ahead and just export this image. So again, I'm going to go back up to the corner where it says File. I'm going to go about halfway down this time. It will say Export. And then over to the right at the top, it will say PNG. That's the one you're going to want to click. If you give it a second, it is going to open up a box for you right here. And now you can retitle this. Right now it's titled 13. If I want to be more specific, it's going to be 13 baseball. It's still a PNG. It's still going to be 4500 by 5400 pixels. I don't really have to touch any of this. Right now, the quality is set at 96%. I could do 100. Sometimes if the image is really detailed and really large, it may be too large to reopen in Canva. If you drop it down just a little bit to like 96, I've never had a problem opening it at that size. So I'm just gonna go ahead, click Save. It'll save it real quick, and now I can jump right back over to my Canva page. So there we go. Now I'm back on Canva. I really no longer need the baseball, and I no longer need 13, so I'm back to my blank canvas here. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and upload the design that I just made using Photopea. So I can go over to the left-hand corner again. There is a tab that says Uploads. If I click on that, it'll pull up all my uploads. I can click Upload Files, and from here I can go ahead, click my baseball file. It will upload it. Perfect. Once it's uploaded, I can just go ahead and drag and drop it right onto my page, and I can close this tab here. And now I have my really cool 13, and I can always crop in the edges if I want to make it easy to work with. And I can go ahead and make it nice and big, so again, it fills most of the page. And center it. Good. So this is my 13 I'm dealing with. And now what I wanted to do for this design is go ahead and make it look like a sports jersey. So on the top, I was going to put some lettering. So I thought about putting the word teen, which I did go ahead and check. Teen by itself is not trademarked, so you are free to do that. So I'm going to go ahead then and click T on my keyboard to pull up a new text box. And I'm going to do this in all caps. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with my cap lock on, and I'm just going to go ahead and write teen. And so that I can see it real easy, I'm just going to go ahead and make it white for now because I want to be able to see it. I'm going to click on it and drag it up to the top, make it bigger. I'm going to go ahead and pull that corner out so it's nice and big. And now we're going to be looking at different fonts. So again, I want something bold. I want something sporty. Again, there's a few different ways I could go with this. I did go ahead and look at fonts earlier so that I knew what I would want. And let's see, I went ahead and went with Sports World. So lots of different cool sports fonts. Again, you could search bold. That's what we did earlier. Or you could search sports, which is another way to go, or sporty, varsity. Sports World is the one that I do want to use here. It gives it that big, bold, sporty look. Another one that I like to use for other sports style designs, but it's not as bold, is, let's see, I'm pretty sure it's called Graduate. And I'm not necessarily seeing it on here, or I might have just gone by it. Oop. There it is, Graduate. So that's another one that I like to use. Gives a good, sporty look, but it's not nearly as bold. And then my other favorite one probably would be something like Boxing. Sometimes that one will look good if you want it to be a little sporty. But for this one, we are going to go with Sports World right at the top there. And so I really like the way that looks. I'm going to make it nice and big across the top. And I want to put this where I want it, and then I'll move the 13 to put it wherever I want. So now there's a few different ways I could go with this in terms of coloring. I could put an outline around the 13 and that might look cool. In fact, I'm trying to debate. A cool way to sort of play with the teen style design would be to match the colors. So I'm going to start with my teen. I'm going to come up to the top where it says text color. I'll click on that, and I can go ahead and match this color exactly. To do that, I'm going to go to the document colors. I'm going to hit the plus sign where it says add a new color, and at the bottom right corner of that you'll see what looks like a little eyedropper. If you hover over it, it will say pick a color from the design. If I click on that, I can hover anywhere over my design. So if I hover over my 13 and I click, it has now matched the color of the ball to the top there. So now I've got perfectly matching colors, and so that is really fun, easy way to do that. And then if I wanted to, I could go ahead and add some red into the teen too. So there's a few different ways I could go with this. So if I come up to the top where it says effects, now I can add some text effects to this. A good way to get an outline around it would be to do something like splice. So if I click on the splice, it is going to give me an outline around my text. Now I know right now it looks offset. That's okay, there is an offset here. So if I get rid of the offset, it's just adding an outline. Now right down here, this is my outline color. It's pretty much the same as my text color, but let's say I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go back up to document colors, hit the plus sign. I'm going to go ahead, hit the eyedropper again. This time I'm going to hover over the laces, and there we go. So I've hovered over my laces and I've matched the colors of my laces to the design. So now that looks pretty cool. It says teen. I've got my 13 here. Now again, I can leave the 13 as is, or I can go ahead and put an outline around it. If I was going to do an outline around the 13, I would probably want it to be this red color here so that it matched the laces. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and click on my 13. Now I'm going to use some photo effects on it. So now if I come to the top left-hand corner, it's going to say edit image. I can click there. And then for this one, I'm going to go down to shadows. And so you might have to scroll down depending on what you have open. If you haven't opened everything, you might have to upload it. I have everything I like uploaded, but down here you might see something that says you might also like, and so you can click any of the other things to try to upload. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and use my shadow feature here. So I'll click on that. And then for this one, I'm going to do glow. Glow is going to give you the all-around outline. I also use drop shadow sometime if I'm just trying to get that sort of, you know, drop. But you can do all sorts of different shadows. So I'm going to use glow, and I'm going to click on that. And you'll notice when you click on it, there'll be these three little bars that'll come up. If I click on that, it says see controls. And now I can go ahead and control this. I'm going to get rid of the blur. I don't want any blur. I'm going to get rid of the transparency. I don't want any transparency. Now, right now, color is set at black. I'm going to go ahead and change that so I can click on that black. And again, I'm going to go to the document colors. I'm going to do the add a new color. I'm going to use my eyedropper, and I'm just going to go ahead and match the red in the teen. There we go. And so now what I want is to change the size or the thickness right here of my outline, and I do want it to be nice and thick. So I'm going to bring it all the way up to the top. I have it at 40 right now, which is as thick as it's going to let me go, and I'm just going to hit apply. Now it will take a second to finalize everything, so you do have to wait a little bit, and you'll see it's going to crop down, and then it'll give it a second, and it'll, you know, make sure it's all nice and sharp and everything. So but that's essentially what it's going to look like there. Now, if I want my outline here to sort of match the thickness of my outline here, I can always change the thickness of the outline on teen. So again, if I came back to effects, if I wanted the outline to be a little thinner right here where it says thickness, I could always drag that down and try to make it a little thinner so that it matches here a little bit more. I don't know that I like that. I liked the thicker outline in terms of the white, so I might still bring that back up. I could also invert these colors too, so if I wanted teen to look more like the ball, I could always completely switch this. So if I clicked my red and I went ahead and changed it to that sort of white color, and then I went up to my text color and I went ahead and changed that to my red color, that's what it would look like if I completely inverted it. I don't know that I like that as much. I don't necessarily think it stands out. I did like the way it looked before with the little alternating colors, so I'm going to go ahead and switch it back. But just so you can see how you could play with it. I do have document colors here. They should be an exact match, but sometimes they're not the exact one, shade that I want, because when you're dealing with a photo, there'll be different shades throughout. So I'm just going to go ahead and match it that way. And then back up to my effects, I'm going to change my outline color here, or sorry, my text color here. And I'm going to go right back to the red on the laces. And so you can see if I hover over different areas of the laces, I'm going to get different shades of red. And so you'll want to make sure that you get whatever shade you think looks best. And so there is my teen design. Now, this works well for 13. You could, of course, do this for 14, 15, 16, 17. You could do it for anything you want. You don't have to have the word up here. You could just use, the numbers. Or if you wanted to, you can always switch the word up here so they could be different words. You could drop this all the way down to like 3 years old and, I don't know, put toddler or something, or big kid or birthday. Just have to make sure whatever words you use aren't trademarked. And so that's sometimes the catch, is that you'll have to check all your trademarks to make sure that it is safe to use. But this is a cool way that you can go with the birthday design, do a little cross niching. And of course, like I said, it doesn't have to be baseball. I mean, you could do it with any sport or just about any topic. It doesn't even have to be a sport, but the sports look is kind of, popular. So here is my teen design. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to retitle the whole thing now. I'm going to just put, let's see, 13 teen baseball, just so I know what it is. I'll go to the top right hand corner again. This time I'm going to hit download. I'm going to click transparent background and click download, and it is ready to go. And so that is how you would make that design. If you have any questions about how to do this, or if you've got any comments or anything that you would like to see or have covered, go ahead, drop it in the comment section below. I do try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. I do have a list going for videos, so if you request something, hopefully I get around to it soon, but it will be added to the list of eventual topics, okay? So again, I hope you guys are doing well with your Q1 sales now and are starting to, again, look ahead at what is coming up later in Q1. That's it for today's video. If you found this useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.